Not going to lie. If you clicked on this video and you watched the video all the way through, you are a sick, sick human being for doing it. If you clicked on accidentally, whatever. But if you're here, you wanted to listen to someone talk about this Mariners team right now, you are a sick, sick individual. I respect the heck out of you, and I love you for it. I really appreciate it. But man, you got to be sick. We know I am coming on here and talking about this team every day. But you're just as sick as me if you're listening to these videos every day. I do truly appreciate all the support. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners lose today 2-1 to the Angels. They are swept, believe it or not, actually for the first time this season, they get swept. They fall to 53-51 on the year. They are one full game back now of Houston in the American League West. Before I go any further, do me a favor, smash the like button. It really does help my channel out tremendously. Comment your thoughts down below on the game if you dare. Let the team have it. I just ask, be kind to everybody else, but let the team have it all you want. And if you guys can hit subscribe if you're new or lurking, it helps out tremendously. My main goal is to get to 4,000 subs during this season. The losing doesn't help, less people want to tune in and listen. So if you can, I really do appreciate it. Even if you don't necessarily love the channel or something, you just want to support a Mariners content creator. It really does help out a lot. So I appreciate all of the support. Still getting, over 1,000 views, even in these losses. So I really do appreciate it, even though I think you're all sick. But I do truly, truly respect and appreciate everybody that comes in, watches, listens, and gives a thumbs up to the video, because it does help out tremendously. Just same old, same old. Over these last 7 games against the Angels, the Mariners go 1-6. They've lost 6 in a row to the Angels, which is a team that, listen, they're playing hard. I like Ron Washington a lot. I think that was a really good hire for a team that's trying to pull themselves back up. I think that's a really good move. And they're battling some injuries too, but it's not a team the Mariners should be losing 6 in a row to if they want to be a serious contender. And over that stretch, Logan Gilbert threw a game where he had 7 shutout innings. The Mariners lost. George Kirby had an outing, 6 innings, 2 runs. They lost. Luis Castillo today, 6 shutout innings. They lost. On Monday, Bryce Miller, 7 shutout innings. They lost. I mean, come on. How on earth does that happen? It happens occasionally. Over the course of a season, you're going to lose a game where your starting pitcher twirls a gem. I mean, we know better than anybody. We watch years of Felix Hernandez doing it and losing games like that. But to have that all over a 7-game stretch, funny enough, the Mariners actually, over that 7-game stretch against the Angels, actually outscored the Angels by 1 run. That 11-0 win carried that. And not trying to make excuses, just more funny than anything. It's like the complete opposite of a Tungsten Arm O'Doyle situation for the Angels and Mariners there. But how does that happen? And that's the thing for me, right? Like, if the offense was playing better and the pitching was in a rut, and that's what dropped the team down, I'd probably still be fairly optimistic, because I know Luis Castillo's good. I know George Kirby's good. I know Logan Gilbert's good. I know Bryce Miller's good. I know Brian Wu is good, especially when he's healthy. I know Emerson Hancock's a capable starter. I know the bullpen is capable. It's had its downs here of late, but it's still a pretty capable bullpen. And I'd be a lot more optimistic. Go, hey, these guys are going to get it together. But the thing dragging them down is the offense. And it's not like the pitching's been a little off. The bullpen has a little bit. But the starters have been dialed in. And look at what I just read off. You lost all of those games. Yes, the offense should be better than scoring 3 runs over a 3-game series with the Angels. Every offense is better than that. But it's just, I don't see where the improvements are going to come from with this offense. Good for, giving Tyler Locklear a shot. I like it. He should. Jason Vossler has had some good at-bats. Good to see. Cade Marlowe had some good at-bats yesterday. It's awesome. But it's already a bad offense. Now you're dealing with injuries. Julio's out as he was getting kind of hot. JP hasn't been great this year. It's kind of a lost year for JP, but it's still better than what the alternative is going to be. Not that even Dylan Moore's a bad player, but, it just forces you in a tough roster situation. And then even with those guys who are bad, now it looks like Cal might be banged up a little bit. Unfortunately, Gregory Santos, knee injury, it looked bad. I don't want to speculate on anything, but man, when it rains, it pours. And I'm frustrated with this team. I'm certainly not wishing any injuries on anybody. That is such a tough break. They finally get Santos back, and to then lose him. We'll see what the final diagnosis is there, but just a brutal injury there. And we'll get into some of the criticisms of the team, but that's tough. And the JP injury is tough, and the Julio injury is tough, although I think he'll be back possibly in a couple weeks. But like I said, on top of it, you're just not getting good play. You got Josh Rojas batting leadoff. Rojas was great in April, May. He has been pretty bad since, and that's probably being kind. Is he the biggest problem with this team? No. He still gives you value because he's been a really good defensive third baseman this year. But it's just all of it, right? And I just don't see, they could do some of the trade deadline. I'm not even really in the mood for the trade deadline. I'm just kind of like, I could not have a lower opinion of this team right now. I've gone from one of the more optimistic people to I'm probably one of the more pessimistic now. But I've really, listen, they could still have a run. There's still, 58 games left to go. You have a hot streak in there. I'm not giving up on the season. I will say I'm kind of changing how I'm going to watch the games starting Friday. Not in a bad way. I'm still watching. I'm still coming on for the post games. Still rooting like crazy for this team. This is my team. The Mariners, the Seahawks. These are my ride or dies. I watched all 162 of the 08 and 2010 Mariners. I can get through this, but I'm just going to kind of sit back a little bit. And if they win, great. If they don't, it is what it is. Baseball is a great game. It is a beautiful game, and it is a lot of fun to watch. It has been a lot of fun recently. I'm just going to try to have more fun with it. If they lose, they lose. If they win, cool. Maybe we can go on a run here. Astros play the Dodgers coming up. You've got the White Sox. I'll be honest, you're facing Fetty and Crochet. I don't even have a ton of hope going into that series, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm just going to kind of take a step back and try and watch it with a more just soaking in baseball, right? Because life with baseball is still better than life without it at the end of the day. So I'm kind of taking that approach to it. I've kind of burnt through all my anger right now, and the apathy is setting in a little bit. It's starting to set in. Now, not unfortunately for the apathy, they're still very much in the race. I'd be lying to you if I said one game doesn't feel like 11 games back right now, but they are still in it. So I'm still rooting for a run. We'll see what they do at the trade deadline. Maybe they make some additions and, maybe some new blood in here helps. Even the guys they've called up have at least been more serviceable than what they currently have. But even with additions, I don't really know how much better it can get. I'm really kind of just at a loss for it. And people have DM'd me, what do you do at the trade deadline? I have no idea. I have no idea what to do. You could listen, some of these bats that are out there, Luis Robert, I think Jazz, Vlad Guerrero, if Vlad's out there, tough too. Cause we don't know what we don't know. And it's hard to judge moves that don't happen because we don't know what all the conversations are with teams. I'll get more into the trade deadline as we get there. And I'll have a breakdown of it and what the Mariners do. And some of those bats make sense, like I said, because they're under club control. So you could look at as an addition for 2025 and 2026. And we've seen the Mariners do things like that in the past. So, fine. We'll see what the cost is. I'm never going to shoot down any deal until I see what the final, breakdown of the deal is. You could go get a couple cheap bats and go, hey, it's upgrades over what we have at shortstop and it's an upgrade over what we have in right field. And we're just going to hope everybody else gets better. I'm honestly not even against that too much. Keep the farm system intact. It's a good system. Try to make a couple small upgrades and see if that helps. I hate the notion of doing nothing. I think that's kind of I get it, but I don't know. I really don't know. Even that, I can get it. Give me your thoughts on that. What you guys think they should do. Selling's tough for me because I just don't think they have a ton to sell, to be honest. And what they do have to sell is under club control for multiple years. It's not really where you'd sell it. If we're going to talk seller and we want to get into that, you could talk about Munoz, Stanek, some bullpen guys, any of the bullpen guys, to be honest. You could talk about maybe Dylan Moore, Josh Rojas. I'm not saying they've been great, but they get you something, nothing of much value or interest. But you could. I don't think you're going to see that, though. And I really don't know. I'm kind of burnt from it, to be honest. So I don't really have much of a take on it. I'll kind of let it happen, and I'll break it down as it happens. It's just hard for me right now with the way the team's playing. I'm like, oh, yeah, let's make this addition. Let's go. And maybe if they do, I'll be more excited. Me and Mariner Sir will be on tomorrow. And if they do any moves or anything, we'll definitely talk about it. And you guys know, I've said over the last few games, I've lost a lot of faith in this front office and this coaching staff. You could make a case Scott should be gone tomorrow. You can make a very strong case for it. Do I think that solves all the team's problems? Nope. No, I don't. But this team had a 10-game lead. It was gone in, 22 games? And now it's been like 25, 26 since then. And now it's literally not even we can't even say tied anymore. They're behind. The team looks lifeless. Sometimes managers got to bite the bullet for that. And, I don't like coming on calling for people's jobs. I'm sure everybody in that coaching staff is working very hard to try and get this ship righted, but it's not happening. And Scott's been here a long time. I think he's done some good things here. I think he's had some hits, some misses, but maybe the voice just isn't working anymore. And maybe, maybe you fire Scott, Christopher Negron steps in, and maybe a younger voice gets the guys going a little bit. Maybe it sends the team a message that, listen, we're not accepting of what's happening. You like Scott, fine. Now he's gone. We don't care. Be better. I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, I don't think all the team's problems fall on one person. It doesn't fall on one player, one exec, one coach. It doesn't. It's a collective effort. The players need to be better. Scott needs to be better. The front office needs to be a lot better. And the ownership needs to be better. Now, listen, we can't do anything about ownership, right? You can boycott things. I'm not much for boycotts because I look at it like, one, I don't think they actually do a whole lot. And two, I'm not going to stop a family from going to a ball game and enjoying an afternoon at a ballpark. I think that's a beautiful thing to do. And I'm not even sure it would make any difference. I don't, yes, I get it could hurt Stan's pockets, but whatever. But there's nothing we can do really about ownership for the most part. Front office got to be better. And I've said it. If this team does not get in, there needs to be changes. This has been the same regime for a while now. I think they've done some really, really good things here. Farm system's in really good shape. It's a good farm system. They've rebuilt it now again after the Castillo trade and after the graduation of a lot of prospects. Pitching staff's amazing. It's being wasted, unfortunately, or it looks like it's going to be wasted. That they have not found the right pieces to put this team over the top. That's been the goal. I know I'm repeating myself. Again, I say it all the time. It happens when you do daily videos. I sat here 2 years ago after the Astros loss in Game 3 and talked about it. I said it was a great season, but they've got to take the next step. The next step has not happened. So how can I legitimately sit here and defend them? I'll defend some of what they've done. I don't think it's been a terrible regime in Seattle. I don't. I think they've probably actually maybe done more good than bad overall. I think this is an attractive job for any GM that's looking to become a general manager. I think Seattle's a very attractive job. Now, there's ownership stuff. I'm trying to kind of not get into that. I'm just talking about the team, the city, and everything like that. It's a good job. But they're not getting this team over the top. They've gotten them off the ground, but now you've got to get them over the top, and they're not doing it. I've liked the moves they've made. I thought they had a pretty good offseason. I'm wrong a lot. So, wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong about something. I think I've been right about a decent amount of things, but I've been wrong about things too. But I've said it, I don't work for the Mariners, so they can't fire me. But they can move on from people that are running this organization. And it's unfortunate. And again, I want to see how the season plays out. This is at least referring more to Jerry Justin at this point. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see what they do at the deadline. I'm not optimistic in the 58 games that this team is going to go on a run. I'm not. But let's see. Maybe there's a run to be had out there. Weird things happen in baseball. Maybe they go 35 and 23 or something. They get in. Cool. Then we can kind of reevaluate things, and I'll talk about it. But right now, all we have is what we have right now. If the season ended today, I think they got to go. I think you need new voices in here. I think you need new leadership. I certainly don't put this all in going back to the manager a little bit, going back to Scott Service. I don't think this is all on him. Not his fault. The lineup is atrocious right now. It's not. Now, I mean, listen, maybe there's something with the coaching they're not doing to get these guys right. That could be the case. But the fact that it's just bad baseball players, I don't think is necessarily his fault. but the message is just not getting through. He went on the rant Monday, right? He yelled, he got frustrated. Didn't work. I know yesterday he was calm because he did the yelling. Listen, if you're a coach, if it's in any sport, you yell at your team about a loss, you get on them. Unacceptable. And then the next week they still do it again, and the next day you kind of got to change. You only get like one shot, in my opinion. It's sort of we're done. I'm done with this. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't get through. It's either time to get rid of the players or get rid of the coach. And you can't get rid of 26 players. I don't think I'd say no to it outside of maybe 5 or 6 of these guys, all on the starting pitching side. The easiest one is the coach. And I just, it might need to happen. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see. I'm not going to lose sleep over it either way necessarily. And going to the game today, listen, nothing to do about the Santos injury. That's brutal. It stinks. Well, why Trent Thornton? Why not Munoz there? Why didn't we go to Andres Munoz in the 8th? If something happened that I didn't read about, let me know. But why wouldn't you go to Munoz in that spot? This is a must-win game. Every game right now is kind of the biggest game of the year. And you've got a huge spot. You've got a runner at second with 2 outs. You need to finish that inning. You need to get it to the bottom of the 8th tied. Why aren't you bringing in Munoz? Why are we going to Trent Thornton? I like Trent. Trent Thornton's fine. There is nothing wrong with Trent Thornton. But Andres Munoz is better. Why are we not using our best reliever there in the biggest spot? This was a close game all the way through, and our best reliever did not pitch in this game. I don't know. It's just little things. They're just starting to add up for me. And I'm tired of it, and I'm frustrated. The team looks lethargic. And listen, losing will do that. Every team that loses doesn't look like they're having fun. I don't know any losing team that looks like they're having a blast. And I don't know any winning team that doesn't look like they're having fun. So that could just be part of it. The losses are piling up. So, of course, Jay, it doesn't look like they're having fun. But the vibes just don't look right. It just looks off right now. And it's just so hard to see them pull out of this. I don't know. Even last year with the struggles, the vibes seemed okay. There were some frustrating moments. There was that Patrick Corbin game in June, and truly they didn't even get hot till about after where we're at right now. But the vibes never seemed dead, right? They never seemed lifeless. I don't know. Maybe you can go back to some of my recaps and I say they look lifeless. So, who knows? But I don't know. They just seem way, way worse right now. Way worse. And it's probably, listen, the fact they started out with the 10-game lead and blew it. Had they just been hovering around 500 the whole time, then I probably wouldn't be saying this. And it's not so much it is the overall record. They're essentially, if they get swept in Chicago, which I don't think they will, but they'd be under 500. There is a chance. And you're facing Crochet and Fetty in that series. That's not going to be easy. There is a chance the Mariners leave Chicago under 500. It's just tough because, sometimes it's just time. And I'm actually really looking forward to doing some Seahawks videos and some Seahawks recaps because last year the Seahawks was kind of similar to the Mariners this year. It was a team that started out really good. Vibes were hot. And then just looked like it was time for changes. And I said the same thing, right? Let me see how it goes at the end of the year. I'm always holding out some hope. I try to stay optimistic that a team can make a run. I did it with the Seahawks. Even they were 6-7. And truthfully, they should have because they beat the Eagles that game. Then the Titans, they probably should have beaten Pittsburgh and gotten in. So like I said, let me wait to see what the season ends. I'll make my call on Pete. But you could see it, right? It just, what Pete was doing wasn't working anymore. Now, I'm not trying to compare Scott to Pete. Pete brought home a Super Bowl win, got the team to another Super Bowl, and won 2 NFC championships in multiple divisions. Not trying to compare the two, just comparing the thought process of it. But it was time, right? The defense had been stale for years. It wasn't working anymore. And the Mariners are kind of in the same boat to me. It's not an ill will thing. I'm not going to bash anybody if they're gone. But it just looks like it's getting stale. And anyways, I'm looking forward to the Seahawks a little bit this year because you got a new regime. Well, not necessarily new regime. Schneider's still there, but completely new coaching staff. And it's going to be nice to just kind of let them do their thing. Let them evaluate the roster. Let them see what they need to do. And hopefully we get some wins along the way. I don't think they're quite there yet. I think they're still behind the 49ers. That didn't mean to turn this into a Seahawks video or anything, but there's going to be no calls for firings, at least for me, and some people probably will. But, I'm just kind of let the year happen and give him a couple years to see what Mike McDonald can do with the roster. But I can't say that for the Mariners because it's been the same regime. I can't come back and go, well, let's see what they do next year. It's not working. It's not. Again, unless you get a miracle turnaround here, which please happen. Please let it happen. Please let this team make a run here. I have no problem with it. That would be great. Make me eat the word. Make me come back to this video and go, wow, Jerry, Justin, Scott got it together. We'll see. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Off day tomorrow, going to be interesting. Whether it's coaching staff changes or front office, not front office. There's not going to be front office changes until the offseason if it happens, but personnel, players, acquisitions. We'll see if something happens tomorrow. If it does, I'll be here. Well, I'll be at work, but me and Mariner Sir will break it down. Let's go into the box score a little bit here. I mean, do you want to go in the box score? It's funny. They actually didn't strike out as much this series. 8 strikeouts today. And that's kind of been my point with the strikeouts. Listen, the strike's been way too high. I'm not defending that they're strikeouts. But it's not just a strikeout issue with this team. It's just that they've been bad. And part of them being bad has been strikeouts. But even when they don't strike out, they're not hitting. They just haven't hit. Like the most strikeouts ever in a season, it will be this year's Mariners. Before this, I believe, was last year's Twins. They were like 5th in WRC plus in baseball. They were not a bad offense. The Mariners struck out a ton last year. They were 9th in WRC plus in baseball. So listen, the strikeouts do not help. They need to be lower than their 30%. That's ridiculous. It's insane. But I feel like sometimes people think, oh, the issue is just they strike out. The issue is they're not good. And part of that not good is the strikeouts. You can put it in there, but nothing's good with the offense. I mean, it's everything. It's not just one thing that makes them bad. They're just a bad offense. Did anybody do anything? There were some hits. There was that bases loaded, nobody out spot. Polanco had a double. Mitch Haniger homered, and he walked Mitch on base twice. Good to see. Castillo was outstanding. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Colin Snyder looked really good. Good to see them going not to Ryan Stanek in these high leverage spots. So I'm definitely, excited to see that, and, maybe get Snyder some more high leverage spots, and we'll see what happens now with Santos. And then Sauce strikes out the side in the 9th. Good to see. Good for Sauce. Just not enough offense as per usual. Have a good one, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with Mariner Sir. We'll talk about any moves that have been made. We'll talk about maybe some changes, front office coaching staff, what we think of the situation. And we'll go from there. Maybe talk a little trade deadline as well, get his thoughts on it. Then I'll definitely be back Friday with the post-game recap. I will have a special guest on Friday. See who that is. Hopefully, the Mrs. Trident Podcast will be joining us on Friday. And you don't see nothing until you see her talk about this team. She is way more critical than I am of these guys, except for Cal. She does love her Cal Raleigh, which even Cal has been a tough year, but we do love some Cal. So have a great night, everybody. And enjoy it. Enjoy your night. And as always, go Mariners. Thank you guys for all the support. Truly appreciate it. Truly do appreciate it. Peace.